Hello and welcome back to another pretty HD video. Today we've got another career mode episode. It is episode 9 of season 2 of Birmingham City career mode. And today we are playing West Bromwich Albion. And this, I believe, is actually New Year's Eve in the career mode timeline. So we are very, very close to the January transfer window, which will open in this episode, would you believe? West Bromwich Albion. We have not even played the Black Country side yet, and of course, it is a Midlands derby. Ironically as well, West Bromwich Albion, for some reason, like to advertise Wolverhampton University on their advertising boards. I tell you what, they must have a hell of a deal with them for that to be advertised. Either way, we start off very promisingly, but West Brom are the team that take the first major attack. It's a good save there by Diddlon, but half-time, 0-0, reasonable half so far, but just no action hardly at all to show you guys, because literally this was the definition of a typical Tony Pulis game, at least a Tony Pulis game from previous seasons. West Brom have looked a lot better attackively this year. In fact, I think they've already beat their score from last year attackively. But look at that, they hit the bar with an absolute rocket of a shot, but it is taken by storm as the rebound does manage to find its way in eventually. It's Berahino, the now Stoke City striker, who scores. Brilliant shot from Rondon. Berahino's on hand to nod it back in, and it looks like it was just about to loop into Diddlon's hands to tap it over the bar, but unfortunately Diddlon just couldn't stretch his hand far enough out, and it is a solid 1-0 lead, and West Brom double that lead with Rondon now. Rondon is a solid striker. He's getting on a bit now in this career mode, second season in, I reckon he's about 29 now, 28 area, but he is still a fantastic player, and he is the sort of player that does get goals like that. A good goal scorer, and he's scored a lot of goals for them. It's becoming a bit embarrassing now. 3-0, and suddenly, in the matter of moments, our entire game has been dismantled and torn apart. West Brom have been a side that are, well, quite frankly, fantastic this year. They've been absolutely unbelievable. The surprise of the season, bar us and our position, but they have been really, really good, and it wasn't for the ones who were trying, but our attempts go in vain as Tony Pulis' side get a 3-0 win, don't concede and get 3 goals. That's the perfect situation for them. Poor derby game, and we are rather embarrassed. But, you know, West Brom have a lot of Premier League experience now. They're thereabouts in the top 10, top 5 areas even, and at one point they were in the Champions League spots as well. So, although it's a bit of a disappointing result, especially off the back of the previous episode, I think at the end of the day, derby-wise, we've been average, but to be fair, you've got to credit us for how well we've done in the rest of the season. 9th is our position at the moment, which means we have fell down the league quite a bit now. And that is expected. I wasn't expecting to finish in the top areas. 9th is a bit more of a, I wouldn't say realistic finish, but it's certainly within our realms to finish 9th, I believe. And we've had an outstanding season so far. So, despite the fact that we've lost Villa and we've lost West Brom in our 2 derby games so far this year, which have been very poor, I still feel like we've had a good season. And so far, in this Sunderland game, it has been completely and utterly dead. Was it recently that we played Sunderland, actually? Have we already done that one? Yep, I think we have. Catamol got the goal for them, and we lost 3-2 in the final moments of the game. And it was such an unfortunate loss. But this time, we're looking to amend it. But it is Sunderland, who were probably the better side there. Kawat as the centre-back, only just missing if it wasn't for a slight miss-hit there. But Will Gleeson plays it into Cotterill. Cotterill, who is on the abundance of leaving players in January. Because he's rejected a contract, I have placed him on the transfer list, but if it was going to be anyone to get the brace, to get the goal, to get the finish, which breaks the deadlock very late on in the game, in this sort of game, which I just felt like I wasn't going to score, it's going to be Che Adams with a rocket of a shot with his weaker foot too. Unbelievable goal from our striker. But if it wasn't for just a scramble in the area there, and a fantastic block by Caddis there, which was actually me. The keeper didn't say that. That was my control by Caddis, which blocked that. I slid as the player hit it, and it managed to block it with his feet. It was not the keeper's save. unbelievable block, and I was so happy that I managed to get on Clay. Caddis was the absolute hero in the final moments there, and that scramble does leave us with the 1-0 lead. Let's go into the squad report now. It is, of course, the January squad report, and our players are doing reasonably well. You can see the variety of growth in our squad in different areas. We've got at least one high potential player in each position pretty much now, maybe apart from right back. So this January is where we're going to be looking to improving that. Cotterill is going down. He's rejected his new contract as well. So to stop him going on a free, I have put him on the transfer list. Unfortunately, it is time for him to move on now. In real life, he's out on loan at Bristol City. In this career mode, he's just getting a bit on. And getting a bit old. Donaldson I would sell in this transfer window as well, just to try and get somebody out of him whilst I can, but he's retiring apparently, so I can't. Roldan has hit 70, which is huge. But look at what we're doing. Now, I've been away, doing a lot of behind-the-scenes transfers, and this is what's going on right now. So, you can see Corker has accepted a transfer offer. Corker is the sort of player that, well, he was fantastic at Swansea when he first established himself as a Premier League player, youngster than he was really, and he was fantastic. And ever since, he hasn't been able to break into a Premier League side. But the QPR centre-back, I think this is a reasonably realistic signing for the sort of club that we are and the position that we're in the career mode now. On pre-contract, he will be joining us next year on a reasonable wage of around 45,000 a week. So, I think that's a reasonable signing. It's Corker's chance to break back into the Premier League. It's Corker's chance to return to top form and to actually get an established position in the Premier League now. Because ever since about 23 years of age, ever since he moved to Liverpool, really, and Cardiff, in fact, when he was at Cardiff and they went down, he's just been in teams that are getting relegated, or he hasn't established himself in top teams such as Liverpool. So it's a great opportunity for him to really break into the Premier League, and I think that's a reasonably realistic signing. Another player I'm after is the right back, Ander Kappa. Of course, you can see some other signings as well, but our defensive areas are the areas that we need to improve. Morrison's getting on, and he's a solid player. I don't want to sell him at all, but he is getting on, and it's because, of course, he's hit his peak now. He's never improved at all. And right back Caddis, of course, is basically in the same situation. So Andre Kappa is a brilliant signing on a reasonably low wage as well. Granted, still the second most expensive wage, bar Corker already, now in our squad. So we bought two of the most expensive players we've ever bought, wage-wise. But because of that free transfer fee, I think it really sort of makes up for it. So we've sort of taken advantage here of the pre-contract system, which, I mean, it's not the best thing, the pre-contract system, in the sense that it can be incredibly OP, but I tell you what, it helps us out a hell of a lot, because at this club right now, we don't get any investment from our board, because our board are cocks. So, quite literally, the Ander Kappa signing and the Corker signing are massive defensive changes, which we all have to phase into the squad, because we've got such a nice established defence, the best defence in the Championship last year, of course, and then this year it's not been the best defence in the Premier League, obviously, but it's still been a reasonably decent defence. Then again, when you actually look at the position we're in, we've conceded a lot of goals, especially since that Man City game, but it was us who, after relentless pressure early on, take the lead in the FA Cup against Brighton and Hove Albion. Brighton are a very, very good side, of course, still in the Championship in this career mode, though, and their attempts just wastefully go over the bar. Matheus Pereira is the man with the goal, and we walk in at half-time with that 1-0 deficit, and it is a brilliant lead to take. The Emirates FA Cup is a cup that I'm not too interested in winning as such, but we've got to try and match our objective of getting through this round and then into the next. As long as we win this game, we've already matched our objective of getting into the round of 32. So, ultimately, this is the round of 32 is just round 4, I believe, as well, because round 5 is 16. Round 6 is the quarters, basically. So, there we go. We have got the 1-0 lead, but of course it's a slender lead, and against teams like this, it's vulnerable. You are always vulnerable. You're open for attack, really, at this point, because it's a very, very difficult lead to have. Because ultimately, in these sort of games, in these FA Cup games, you never know when they're going to snatch a goal in the final closing minutes. That didn't happen, though. We're in round 4 of the FA Cup, and I'm really looking forward to it. It should be a fantastic little journey, this, and I really hope that we can try and keep up a bit of a cup run going. Cameron Jerome as well, our former striker playing for Brighton now, moved from Norwich in the summer. And we've made some fantastic signings in this episode as well for next season. Because I don't think in the short term we need anyone. I think we can wait another 6 months. I think we can wait out this season, really, to be honest. to try and sign anyone else now. At this current point in time, I think the pre-contracts are the best value players we can find because we're pretty comfortable in the position we're in. A few injuries could kill us off though, so we do need to be careful. Make sure you return for the next episode because our transfers aren't quite done yet.